Hello, welcome. Monday morning. This is Luke Smith with RealVacantLand.com. If you're listening to the recording, thank you. Thanks for watching this. Today we're gonna do I'm gonna do another mailer. I've promised a bunch of mailers and I haven't been able to keep up. I'm just keep sending mail and keep making offers, keep buying land, doing deals, and see you in America. See you in America through one land deal at a time. So we got this website, RealVacantLand.com, for those of you who don't notice. And we post a bunch of properties on there. We get these properties by sending out mailers. A lot of people ask, what are mailers? I've been making these videos about mailers. So they're asking, what are mailers, right? And I said, the mailers they're they look like, this isn't going to an actual person. This is like to the DMV, but it's just a letter that looks like this, right? And it's just basic letter. Got like my name up here. Oh, not this side over here. Put my name on there, and it says name and address of the person that owns the land. And we go into the public records, the county public records, that says who owns vacant land. It also says who owns houses and shopping centers and all kinds of things, but I'm focusing on vacant land because I'm trying to keep it easy. I don't want all the moving parts of touring houses and trying to figure out if it's actually got whatever. And just vacant land. Just want vacant land. So we go through the data and we scrub through the data and we try to narrow in on stuff that's vacant. Things that don't have buildings, structures, and stuff to inspect and try to value and haggle over. Just land, right? Trying to keep it homogeneous that we can go make cash offers on to lots of people. And when we do it to lots of people, we can offer really low prices and let statistics go in our favor. So a couple of people will say yes. And then the people that say yes, we buy the properties and we put them up for sale on RealVacantLand.com. And that's why you get such good deals on RealVacantLand.com. So these videos are made because people don't believe the prices on RealVacantLand.com. People call and it's like, that can't be. It's like half of what other people are asking. What's wrong? Why? And it's not what's wrong. It's like, why didn't you buy it yet? Stop asking questions. That's the sales pitch. I want people to go buy the thing without asking a million questions because I can't answer all those phone calls. You just go buy it because you know how I got it. And so this video is to help show you how I got the property so cheap and why I'm selling it so cheap, because I know I can just go buy more properties. So let's jump into it. I've got the comments pulled up here. Let's see if anyone's signing in. Yeah. So Ron says, good afternoon, Luke. Good morning, Ron. It's morning here. I live in Washington and looking for a good homestead. There we go. TK Dawes says hi. Cindy Lee says hi, Luke. So a couple people signing in. Thank you guys for signing in, checking in, and watching this video. It says my stream health is pretty low right now, so hopefully hopefully this will keep up and it'll work. TK Dawes says, you got some land for sale, I think $8,000. If I put it down $1,500, what would be my payments? Yeah, so like $8,000 property, if you want to do $1,500 down. First, I got to check if it's one that I actually own, because there's a dozen people or so posting properties on the website right now, and some of them do payments, some of them don't. Sometimes it depends on which property for different reasons. Like sometimes there's a bunch of back tax on the property and I gotta pay a whole lot of back tax. And if you're doing like some little down payment, I was hoping to use the money to pay off the taxes for you. It's just like, I want to know which property to structure it right. So I think I'd want to know which property before I start saying what payments. Yeah, Jeff Hinckley says, hi, hello. Need to get back on a $100 a month plan, Luke. What do you have? It's Redefined Living. I need to get back on the $100 a month plan, Luke. What do you have? So I've got a couple different $100 a month properties right now. Ones that I can think of. I think there's like Southern Navajo. A lot of people pick on Northern Navajo. I kind of pick on Northern Navajo. It kind of looks like the moon in some parts. So there's some pretty cool colors and it's cheap as heck land. You can probably buy it for $100. But in Southern Navajo, you get a lot more character. You get a lot closer to stores and restaurants and people and maybe a job and internet connections, like your cell phone works and stuff like that. There's more going on. I got some good looking properties down there. I think I got marketed on the website for $100 a month. And then other $100 a month. I mean, you have to start poking around on the website. If you sort by price, and ones that I got marketed for like lower prices, you'll see them come up. Like a lot of the payment ones will come up first. So that's one way to do it. And just find one that you like and just go. There's a little contact thing on the side of the ad. Just say, hey, do you want to do payments of this kind of payment, that kind of payment? People are asking for payments all the time on these properties, and I'm scratching my head and figuring out which ones I can do, can't do, or counter offer something else that might work better. So just don't hesitate to ask. Good morning. Okay. I've noticed your previous videos, you look at active listings. Why not focus on solds? I am confused. Cindy Lee, that's a really good question. Cindy, thanks for asking that question. Why focus on active listings and not focus on solds? First off, I'm not a real estate agent. I think in real estate agent school or wherever that comes from, they like to look at solds. And they like to look at solds. I come from a penny stock background. So penny stocks, sometimes my clients would call up and they'd say, okay, I want to buy 5% of the company or 10% of the company. Like they place a different kind of order. Not, I would like to buy 100 shares of Apple at this price. It's a different kind of order. Or like 100 shares of Apple, you can do it at market. You basically know what the price is. There's so many people trading, it just goes right through. But when you put an order in to buy 5 or 10% of a company, that's a different kind of order. It takes a specialist to get that order through, because you don't just go hit market, the price change something crazy, and you start to see how illiquid the market really is, and especially at penny stocks, not just the big ones, but the little guys. Now we're talking vacant land. Like, you're looking at recent sales. What do they really have to do with what the next sale is going to be? To me, the next sale is going to be the best priced, best looking property out there, right? And so if I'm the bidder, if I'm the one bidding to buy stuff and I'm the one marketing to sell stuff, I'm on both sides of the market. I know what I'm willing to buy for. I know what I'm willing to sell for. Do I really care what the other people traded this stuff for? I mean, they might have traded it for $1 million. And if I'm buying it for $25,000 and selling it, I just want to make another $25,000 off it and marketing it for $50,000. There might be one next door that sold for $1 million. And I don't really care, because there might be one on the other side of the property that's marketing it for $100,000. So what's the context of the market? To me, I want to get my trade through there before the next guy, because I don't want to sit around and wait. I could use that money to go do more deals. I could buy other properties and bring them to market and sell them. And should I sit there and market it and wait for the $1 million property? Should I wait for the $100,000 guy to go away, get bought out, go away, and just keep waiting for the $1 million one? Now, if I didn't know how to go get more properties for cheap and easy and do it again and again and again, and this was like the only property I got, and maybe I got it inherited from grandpa or something, I got no idea how to go buy another property. This is like the family heirloom, and it's got all this nostalgia hooked with it, and I'm nervous about selling it, and I had no idea what I'm doing. I want to maximize my dollar, and I'll put whatever time and energy it takes into that thing to get the sale through for the biggest dollar amount, because maybe my sister's involved, and those people got to get part of the money too, and I can't go back to them and say I sold it for $50,000 when the neighbor sold for $1 million. It's a different interpretation of the market than what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell it fast and go do it again, sell it, go do it again, sell it and do it again. So people in the area of where I'm selling land, they probably get pissed off because I'd knock the theoretical prices of their stuff down. And I counter that argument with saying, isn't that more of where the market really is? Like, if you're marketing that stuff at some high number and it's not happening, that's not really the market. That's just dreaming. It's asking, and it's polluting the market for people like you guys that are trying to buy land to look at those phony baloney numbers and think that that's the price of what you have to pay for these things. Because it's not. Lots of times it's way lower. People haggle out some deal that's way lower than what the realtors are asking for, especially in vacant land. And it's just misleading. I think it's wrong, and it keeps a lot of people from going to buy land and develop stuff when they should, if they knew the real price of what the stuff really trades for. I think more people would do the calculation that it pencils out to go buy land instead of buying a house, or buy and develop, buy, build, do it a couple times, and then keep one or something like that. Okay, so I keep getting off on tangents, and I want to go do some mailers. Let's try to answer a couple more questions. Backwoods Bungalow says, "Hello, Luke. At what stage of the mailing to making offers process do you start to identify profitable land deals?" There you go. There's a good question. Okay, so last week, Monday morning, 9 a.m., I do these calls every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Last week, Monday morning, 9 a.m., we started working on a mailer for Wyoming. And I like Wyoming, and some of it looks like this picture in the background. I don't know where this picture is actually from. It might be New Zealand or something. But Argentina, I don't know. But I've got a lot of good memories from parts of Wyoming that I've visited and had fun with, friends, family, and that kind of thing. And so I feel like I can present parts of Wyoming with a positive spin, because my heart is there. And I like those kinds of properties better than places I've never been and I've never seen and I don't know. And not because that's logical. It's just there's still some emotional, sensitive, feely, touchy stuff in the back of me somewhere too. It's not all just logic, numbers, and go for it. So I learned a lot off of that mailer. I cut the mailer off partway into it as I had somebody here visiting, and it was it's going to be like a 2-hour call or 3 hours. It was like a 3-hour call, and really I had to go to the bathroom, and we're still on the call forever, and I can't do that long of a live call. So what I learned is the way they have APN numbers in Wyoming is very different than California or Arizona or Nevada or other states. Each county was very different APN scheme. APN is assessor parcel number. That's like your social security number, but for a property, right? So each property in the U.S. has a number. Each property that is taxed by a county has a number, I should say. Not every property is taxed. But the ones that are taxed have a number. And the layout and format of that number is logical in some places, and you can use that number to target different properties. This part of the county has the number starts with this, and that part of the county, the number starts with that. This neighborhood, it starts with this and that number. And that neighborhood, it starts with this number and that number. And then all the little numbers after those numbers are the different lots in that neighborhood. And the logic goes down the tree, down the hole even further. As you get further down that number, you know what part of the neighborhood the property's in. And it's laid out in a logical fashion that you can reverse engineer to figure out how to make cash offers on those properties according to their location and other bits of data that you can get off those properties, right? And so I'm full of myself, and I went into Wyoming, and I'm thinking I can do that kind of detailed analysis of the properties in Wyoming because I'm used to doing it in other counties and other states. And in Wyoming, they're much more free-for-all and less rules. And so the states never put any rules on the counties to say this is how the format should be, which is nice in some regard, but it's hard for me as a land dealer to understand their formats. And so I got a couple different databases, and some databases the format's one way, another database the format's another way, and then in like the county records it's totally different than the databases I have. And I was really scratching my head. It took me a while to decode those APN schemes. I started figuring some of them out, but the way that they're structured, it's a lot harder to price the properties. And so Backwoods Bungalow is asking, at what stage of the mailing to making offers process do you start to identify profitable land deals? So pricing the properties, I think, is where that profitable land deal starts, because a profitable land deal, it could be any land, any purchasable land in the country if it's bought at the right price, right? So it's all about price. There's some value to it, unless it's got more liability than asset with like environmental concerns or mainly crazy back taxes or crazy liens or fees or mortgages or environmental outstanding liabilities. So if the liability on the property is something crazy more than the value, it doesn't make sense. But every other property than that, at the right price, it's a profitable land transaction. Is it worth your time and energy? It's another story. A lot of them are worth more of the time and energy than some. And that's what I want to focus in on. So in Wyoming, I was going after the areas that I believe are more attractive, at least the ones that I feel I could tell the story more, not the flat, boring stuff that's like, the people that own it, it's like, how many hectares do you own? Sorry, how many sections do you own? I'm saying hectares because I was just talking to European. How many sections do you own? In the U.S. it's sections. And I don't want to trade sections. I don't have the nerve or the capital to do that. But the smaller properties, like that you put a cabin on or a house or homestead on, that are more logical sized properties in my mind, the tiny tinies in Wyoming. And they're close to parks and mountains and creative stuff, the more unique, not just the square in the middle of a bunch of squares for ever in every direction with nothing to look at or nothing to do. So that's what we made offers on, and hopefully some deals come through. So I sent the mail out last week, and the phone hasn't started ringing on it yet. I'm really excited to try to answer some of these calls because I got it into my new database system. I got a new software system I partially helped created that I've been working on a lot recently, so it'll make it easier to pull them up, all the information intertwined, make it a lot faster to weed through these deals. And so that's how the profitability of them or the economics starts to show through. You structure the offer before it's accepted to say, okay, just the people that accept these offers should be profitable deals. And if they don't accept my offer, it's like, they can just throw it in the trash. That's how I do it. Statistics, right? So hopefully that answers Backwoods Bungalow. Ronnie Elston, good morning. I'm from Maryland. Cool. Kurt Butterfield. Hi, Luke and everyone. Hi, Kurt. Don't forget to like what you like. Thanks, guys. Nostalgia will cost you an arm and 2 legs. Uh-oh. I might get myself in trouble with the Wyoming ones. So the other part of figuring out the economics of these properties is looking at what's for sale in the market. We were just talking about that before. What's up for sale? So if someone thinks they can get $100,000 for something similar to what I'm buying, and let's say I'm buying it for, I don't know, 25 grand and I'm trying to sell it for 50 grand, chances are people are going to look at my property before the $100,000 property. And chances are they're going to buy mine before the $100,000 one. And so that's part of it. Now, the other thing I was noticing going through these Wyoming ones is there's not that much for sale. And there's not that many records of properties to make offers on. So there's not that many private properties to really make offers on over large areas because it's not that populated. It's not that broken up. And the laws, rules, and regulations in Wyoming make it really hard to split properties up and subdivide them, make neighborhoods, or even just cut, your chunk up between your kids and stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot of properties to make offers on. And looking at the statistics on the ones that are up for sale, there's not that many people shopping them. There's not that many people saving them. And that worries me too. So that brings us around to the next mailer. So I'm going to take that last mailer, I'm going to spread it across a bunch of people that are buying mailers or winning mailers. And, guys will probably just get like some small little piece of that mailer, and hopefully I can take a bigger chunk of the apple on this next one and get a bigger piece of this next mailer. And because I learn every time I do a mailer, I learn, right? And so, okay. Rich Anderson, hello from Washington State. Moving on to Washington State. I'm going to throw this, let's throw different weatherman background up here. I got to go wave my arms around and stuff. This is ruralvacantland.com. We got a bunch of properties up for sale. And just throw a little ad in there. 'Cause that's what this whole thing is really about, right? So let's do a county map of Washington. I spent some time and energy with a good friend of mine, Karen Caruso, who answers the phone on lots of mailers and things. Last week, looking at this, strategizing, and let's pull up a clean map. So this is Washington, and I like these U.S. Geological whatever ones because nice bright colors. And yeah, I don't know why I like these. It'd probably make more sense if they had like the people and how many people and prices of land and stuff were in here. But I went through and I studied a bunch of these counties. I studied the counties that are already on RealVacantLand.com because I don't really want to butt heads and cross paths with the guys that are already doing parts of this. I thought it would be like one part of the state really lights up. Like if you look at Colorado or something, the places where there's lots of land on RealVacantLand.com in Colorado, it's like southern central Colorado, Castilla County right now. There's a bunch, but I mean it's not evenly spread across the state. And so I would try to hit some of the other counties that don't seem to be getting hit as much and try to get deals in there. I like to look at the map and find holes in the map and try to fill it in, if that makes sense. And I think with all the deals that are going through RealVacantLand.com, it's starting to be one of the best places to strategize for mailers. People keep asking me, where do I start figuring out a place to send mail? I mean, I go look for holes in the map. Like, oh, that hasn't been mailed by the best of the mailers. And if it has, it's, you can always hit it again. So I'm looking at this map, and maybe I can be a little bigger. Yeah, we'll try this. Should get a lapel microphone or something. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so Seattle's right in here. And this is Puget Sound, right? And it shows how much I know about Washington. I mean, I've traveled through. I've spent more time in Wyoming than I've spent in Washington. I've spent more time in Vancouver than I've spent in Washington. But I've traveled through. I mean, down here in the south, you got, where is it? Hood River, somewhere down there. I learned to go windsurfing in Hood River. There's, water goes down Columbia River Gorge. It's beautiful. And just, a cousin lives there. Stayed with a cousin, went windsurfing. That was amazing. But beautiful mountains up through here. The coast, you've got beautiful islands. Boss at my old job bought a place right up in here, looking up here towards Mount Baker's big snow-capped mountain up here, massive mountain. He's like right on the water, building this big fancy place. And just cool islands. As you get out here, land seems to get cheaper along the coastline because I think the weather's something crazy. And it's pretty cheap down here. As you get down towards Vancouver, it starts happening more. Prices start getting a little bit thicker down there. There's more interest in properties, more action happening here, but especially lots of action happening right around Seattle, like the Seattle area. There's a lot of people shopping for land. They really want it, and they want it now, and they're making it happen. And that's where the market's at. So looking at the Wyoming one, looking at how many people are looking at properties there, shopping properties, it's like, okay, I want to offset that with stuff it's really hot. It's really, like you put an ad up, people are buying it minutes later because they think you're crazy and you mispriced it. You haven't seen the new markets that are happening. So I think there's those kinds of people around Seattle. Looking at data from the last year, I mean, there's times when the markets, like days on market for houses in Seattle, have been like less than 5 days on market average for all the houses in the market. I mean, I don't think it's 5 days right now, but let's look at let's see what it is right now. So I'm gonna go to Redfin. I misspelled something. So I'm going to go Redfin Data Center. And Land Academy teaches about how to do this kind of stuff better than I. But so we're going to go to region, state. Let's do region. I'll try to blow this up here. Let's do state. Let's just do Washington. Let's do days on market. This is Seattle. Jeez, it's back down there. It started going up again, but it came right back down. It's time for the kids. We got days on market. 9 days on market. average. That's the average. These are houses. This isn't vacant land. But you could kind of think vacant land will follow this. I mean, average days on market is not going to be 9 days for vacant land. It's going to be something more than that. But that's a crazy low number for days on market, average days on market. If you guys throw some other place in there, let's see if we can find anything in Wyoming for days on market. Yeah, they don't even have data on that one. Nobody cares. There's so few people shopping it. Let's do San Diego, just because it's kind of where I'm at. Let's just do California general and see what shows up. Or probably Los Angeles, San Francisco, or something. So Los Angeles is up there at, oh wow, close to 50 days on market. Los Angeles has gotten much more up there. So just as a reference, Los Angeles, average days on market, 50. Look, over the last couple of years, it's been kind of trending higher. And Seattle, down, 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 down. It's just, they're burying the hatchet down into very few days on market. So this should be a much better place to be trading land, right? I mean, there's all kinds of data in here we can look at. This gives you the basic picture. Now, I want to go to, let's go to Zillow. Let's pick one of these counties over here. What's the county that Seattle's in? It's called King County. So let's do King County. King County, Washington. You know the beauty? So Karen and I, last week, we went through a bunch of these counties and we studied the APN schemas of these counties all around the Bay Area. A bunch of counties around the state, but especially all around the Bay Area where most people are. And so, well, let's go back. So Zillow has the newest. Let me finish my previous thought. So we studied this APN schemas around the Bay Area. Whatever you call this, the Sound, Puget Sound, I don't know. They all make sense. Like the logic of the APNs makes sense. So if you put the whole APN, you get the property. If you put a truncated version of the APN in there, let me change this. So, whole APN, get the property. The shorter the APN you make it, as you keep cutting the tail off, you get a bigger and bigger area around the property. And so as you get that APN closer and closer to the actual property, it gets smaller and smaller, less and less properties, like more microscopic or concentrated into where the property is that you're looking at. So you can price accordingly. You can price based on subsets of that APN, by cutting the tail off and pricing that area or that neighborhood, that street, that valley, that region, that area of the county. So when we get microscopic pricing like that, we can be much more accurate. And I think the one guy earlier was asking about how do you find the deals? Well, looking at realvacantland.com, there's a lot of properties spread around Washington in different areas, and I might be wrong. I didn't ask the guys that bought those properties, but it looks like they're targeting the cheaper parts of the county, whether they know it or not. Looking at the pricing of what's for sale out there, they're getting the properties that are in the cheaper parts of the county, generally, not always, but generally speaking. And this is probably because, they're offering low prices across large areas. But I think we could do this style of pricing more microscopic pricing across fancier areas, get more deals. They might be more money per deal. They might cost more to buy. They might sell a lot faster, and they could probably sell for a lot more. I think the spreads on them are bigger and the return on investment's faster. So the compounding effect of it's much greater, and I think you make more money over time doing that than buying the way out there vacant ones and that take longer to sell. So here is an example of how you see which ones are going to trade faster. And this isn't going to be exact, but it'll give you an idea, right? So we're on Zillow, and I'm not sorting by cheapest. So retrospectively, I'm always sorting by cheapest, because I like to be the cheapest in the county, the cheapest in the state, cheapest in the neighborhood might sell better than the cheapest in the county and the cheapest in the state. The cheapest on a very fancy street might sell a lot better than the cheapest in the state, the cheapest in the county. But you get the idea. I can do the same kind of approach, but in a much smaller area, and turn the property over faster and make a lot more money. Everybody is involved. People buying mailers make more money. People financing the properties with me make more money. And I take less phone calls, and everything just works a lot better. So here's the idea. So we've got newest. If we sort this by newest, so here's the newest thing that came up. This is the newest in the whole county. Yeah, King County, Washington, 3 days ago. So 8.95 acre lot. That sounds like a good sized lot. But then I look at the price, $3.5 million. Come on, it looks like a little dumpy house for $3.5 million. For $3.5 million, you better have it should have like a helicopter pad on top or something. I mean, it should have like something, at least a deck, like some solar panels, Tesla in the driveway, or I don't know, $3.5 million. It should have a fence that's not rotted out. A real play set. This is like plastic Walmart play set, which is fine, but $3.5 million property? Come on. Okay, so 3 days on Zillow, views 89, saves 1. Those numbers are awful. 89 people looked at it in 3 days. That's like, what is that? 30 people a day? Okay, so they're all making fun of it too. They don't even go as far as I did. So here's $450,000 for 25 acre lot. So let's just not even look at that one. Oh wow, these numbers are not as much as I was thinking I was going to show you. 4 days on Zillow, 102 views. That's like 25 views a day. 3 saves. Let's find something that's got people's attention. Try to show you an example. Is that Mount Baker? Oh, Mount Rainier. Excellent Mount Rainier view. Nice. 20 acres, 300 views in 5 days. So that's what, 70 views a day or something? I can't do math that fast. 12 days. Yeah, they're not even breaking 100 views a day. Guys, I thought I was going to show you more than 100 views a day kind of stuff. But they don't all have those statistics. So you kind of got to mess around. Let's try a different county and compare. So let's try Pierce, because it's easier to spell than Snohomish. Pierce. Pierce County, Washington. So newest. For sale by owner 1 day ago, 5 acre lot with a bunch of trees. Look at that, 160 views in 1 day. It's by a lake. This is something that's appeals to me a lot more than some of those other ones. Guess it appeals to other people too. $2.2 million. Come on. 30 views. People don't want $2.2 million, a bunch of trailers on it. $95,000. 5 acres. They don't give me my statistics. Come on. Here we go. 4 days, 139 views. So they're getting more views down here in Pierce County than others, but not much. What else should we try? Let's try Island County. You do this county by county, you can see where there's a whole bunch of shoppers, like crazy shopping the property. So if you find something, put it in there. They're going to jump on you a lot faster, right? That's the idea. So, well, Island County, Washington. $550,000 for 16 acres. Come on. 3 days, 178 views. Nice spring looking picture. Three days, 189 views. This is like 70-ish a day. 10 days, 600, so it's like 60. So it's not Maybe there's not as many people shopping the vacant land in this area as the numbers in my head. I was going to guess we could get over 100 a day on all these. But that's a heck of a lot better than a lot of the Wyoming ones, are like less than 10 people looking at it a month. Let's try San Juan. So these numbers don't really mean anything to you until you start putting in context to other markets. So San Juan, newest, let's see. 28, 140 views in 2 days. So that's, is that 70 views a day? 50 views a day. I don't know why some of these give you the numbers, some don't. So you get the idea. But so what I would like to do is do that microscopic kind of pricing all the way around the Puget Sound, because we're close to Seattle, and Seattle's got very low days on market compared to most everywhere else. And I think a lot of people are shopping that area. And if they're shopping up the houses, they should be considering land to build on too. And I want to be the guy that sells them that land. I want to be the guy that goes and finds it for them and presents it to them and says, here's your deal. And I want to sell it to them for less than anything else that they've been shopping and seeing on the market. And I want them to know that it's so mispriced on the low side that they just buy it without asking any questions. They just jump head over heels, buy that thing, take off with it. That's the business plan. That's the strategy. That's what we're going to do. So I've already got a bunch of people that paid for the mail, and I'm just going to mail the heck out of that area. And then I've got other people that want to pay for the properties, some of the same people, and we could do a whole bunch of them and just go jam them through there. I'll do due diligence, pictures, and everything in between to go make it happen, all the paperwork. US says, I've had paint take longer to cure than that. I know, right? Longer than the days on market on average. I mean, a lot of the deals go faster than that. Cindy Lee says, this is exactly what I've been trying to learn. Thank you, Luke. Yeah. So Wyoming can fund Washington. I think it's good to have a mix of numerous different places to be doing deals in, because I think flooding all one place is not a good idea either. I've done that in the past. Like, you guys have probably seen about 100 of my videos about Arkansas, all the properties look the same. I mean, it could sell the heck out of them over a long period of time, but I would rather have them all gone at the same time. So if I had the same kind of property spread across wide areas, there'd be a lot more people to sell them to. And I'm learning over time, right? This is a huge learning curve. This is a street of hard knocks, and just doing good deals where everybody wins along the way. But as I get more efficient at it, I think everybody could win in an even bigger way. Let's see what these guys are saying. Yeah, X Studio Productions. Good morning, Luke. Good to see you today. I got my sweatshirt on today. This sweatshirt is from like when I was in high school. My mom bought this sweatshirt for me. I hardly ever wear sweatshirts until, I don't know, early morning, Monday mornings. I'm always cold for some reason. It's like all rainy out, super windstorm last night. So I just found this old fluffy Northern Michigan style sweatshirt. We're going for it. Try east of the Cascades. Yeah, I'm just going to stay quiet on that one. Rich Anderson, probably because people are leaving King County in droves. maybe we should skip King County. Or if they're leaving in droves, maybe I can buy land from them and offer it up cheap to other people. I mean, there's always a flux. People are coming and going, but at the right price, it works. In 2008, I started buying houses in Detroit. And what was it, 2006 maybe? Maybe even before that. But 2006, the market in Detroit really started to collapse. Nobody wanted those houses. The banks were puking them up. So by the time 2008 came along, they could hardly give them away. That's contrarian, right? You go where no one else wants to go, but the stuff still makes sense. And I learned that from my old boss, Rick Rule, another newsletter writer, friend of his, Doug Casey. They went to New Zealand and bought land when with a little house on it when was it in the 80s? I think their market crashed something hardcore, and everyone was trying to leave. The currency went in the toilet. Like it went wrong in many ways. But it's beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful land, beautiful countryside. And they bought this house, and it was like $2 million or something. It was crazy expensive for a whole junky market. And maybe it wasn't $2 million. I think it was, I don't know the numbers. Don't quote me on the numbers, how much they paid, but it wasn't much compared to what it turned into later. And it was next to Auckland, had its from one mountain range to the next, the whole watershed down to the ocean with the beach, private beach, just going and going and going. Beaches are public in New Zealand, but not if you can't get there. He got his own private beach. And just had this like little sheep herding ranch house on it. And he loved that property. And he would talk about it all the time. And he would get offers from the city of Auckland because they wanted to turn it into a park. And they would make him cash offers. And the cash offers were like $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, $30 million. New Zealand's economy came back around. They kept making bigger and bigger offers. I don't know what he eventually sold the property for, but he owned it half and half with Doug Casey. It was Doug Casey and Rick Rule. Like the ultimate contrarians going to buy real estate in places that nobody else wants to or can. They would go to places like Myanmar and just places that sound crazy. We buy natural resource projects in these countries that nobody wants to go to. There's like a war going on or whatever. And we send the geologists in, send the engineers in, go figure out what the best assets are and buy them for nothing and work on them until the economy changed and then sell them. And so Detroit was the same kind of thing. I mean, just buying those things when nobody else wants them. So if people are leaving King County in droves, which I don't believe is true looking at the prices and days on market and stuff, that's opportunity. FC4U says, Luke, what's the best way to get in touch with you? I mean, this is right now on a live call. Ask questions. This is the best. I do this every week, trying to cover the bases because I can't get back to everybody. I can't, guys. I've bit off more than I can chew. But let me know. I'll try to call you back. I'll try to get back to you or call in, leave messages, and I'll get back as much as I can. I answer a lot of calls as I can too. Cindy Lee, she's asking some good questions. What's the difference between Agent Pro 24/7 and RealQuest? I notice you use them both. So very good question. I want to get into this mailer too, but these are great questions. Agent Pro 24/7 is owned by Black Knight Financial, and they are in a crazy quest to get all the public data that they can in real estate into their system so they can resell it to people like you and I. And they're doing a darn good job of it. They have all kinds of data in there. And like this weekend, I was looking up. Here's the difference between the two of them. I went to a property that I'm trying to buy right now. Guy said yes, it's in title and everything. It's got a little cabin on it, and it's up in the mountains here, close to where I live. And it's supposed to be vacant, but there's a cabin on it. And so I was wondering if there's any permits for this cabin. And so I don't know. I don't think Agent Pro 24/7 has any permit reports, but CoreLogic or RealQuest Pro does. So it's $2.50 in San Diego County to pull a permit report. And you can pull a permit report and see all the permits, like building permits that they've done for going back in time. That's good stuff to know. So there's a cabin on the property and there's no building permits. The thing's an unpermitted cabin. You can't figure that out through Agent Pro 24/7, at least not with the subscription I have or that I know how. Maybe you can, I just don't know how. But RealQuest for $2.50, you can find that out with the subscription I have is $2.50. And they change the prices. Like everybody has different prices and different subscriptions depending on how you got into that software with them. So RealQuest, they have just really, I think, really good sets of data. And if you want to get a deed on a property, you can go in there and get a deed on a property. If they don't have a deed for a property, good luck getting it. I mean, you're probably writing letters in the mail like checks with mystery blanks on them to counties to fill out for you, to go into old records and dig up those paperworks and fill out your check to charge you for $1 a page or whatever and ship it to you. But they charge me $8 a deed. Whereas if I go with Title Pro 24/7 or Agent Pro 24/7, they charge, I think it's $1.12 a deed with the rebates and discounts and stuff I got haggled out with them. So I pay like $1.12 per old deed, and I can go see the title chain. I can see deed after deed after deed going back into history, like in recorded history, computer history timelines of these things. And so you can see where they got it from and the people before them got it from, and see if it looks like it makes sense and everything. Like you can do a title search really well with Title Pro 24/7 or Agent Pro 24/7 that my subscription with RealQuest doesn't do. They'll pull the most recent deed, and you can pull mortgages and that kind of stuff. You can pull mortgages in both of them. You can go see what kind of mortgage your neighbor has and stuff. You can figure out what bank they're using and what rates they got and what terms they got and that kind of thing. So you can get all kinds of data out of those data sets. But it's different charges. So I guess what's the difference? One's cheaper than the other. The more expensive one is more comprehensive. The RealQuest Pro is more comprehensive. It just costs more when you click on everything, costs more than it does in Title Pro or Agent Pro 24/7. Yes, there's a great opportunity in King County. The people want to move to the bordering counties. Nice. Thanks, Rich. Redefined Living says, catch you guys later. Doug Casey, real informative speaker on economic issues. Yeah, Doug Casey is a creative one. I haven't checked in with him in years, but he's a really good speaker. He's fun to listen to. He's charismatic. He's got this crazy smile, and he comes up with these, I want to say crazy ideas, but a lot of them aren't so crazy. They get your mind thinking, right? And say, wow, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, just he's been an inspiration to me over time. Just thinking of a story. I don't know if I should share it or not, but going through the safe one time at the brokerage house and found some old warrants. So it's like a contract to be able to buy a stock at a set price. And they're like 5 years old, and the expiration date was coming up in a couple days. And it was a company that had blown up something huge. And the uranium business took off like crazy, right? And so the stock was up probably, I don't know, 1,000 times or more from where these warrants were set. And the guy we're talking about, everybody forgot about the warrants from this deal. And he got them as part of financing the company and promoting it. I'm not exactly sure the details of how he got these warrants, but everyone forgot about them. And it wasn't that many warrants, but it was worth more than $500,000 at the time. So I was doing like checks and balances, and this thing came through. I'm checking. It's like, here's $500,000. It's just about fell through the cracks. It's, a guy like that, Doug Casey, can have assets like that and just not even know about it. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So, let's go to this mailer. County here. We've got Puget Sound, bunch of cool counties. I'm going to roll through here, and I'm going to pull up the other one, where is it? RealQuest Pro Classic, RealQuest, whatever you call it. I'll let this thing load. And I'm going to build a search. I'm going to go through the same kind of thing we were doing before and try to figure out how many records there are in each one of these counties of vacant properties that I can make offers to, so I can budget accordingly if I should do more counties or less counties. And it'll take me a bunch of time to go figure out the rest of it, but we're up to about an hour. So I'm going to do one of these, and then I think I'm going to turn the call off, and I'm going to roll through the rest of them and get offers out to them. It'll probably take me all week to roll through them all, realistically. I'm not going to do a live call for a week long. I opened up a couple more slots for mailers if you guys want to buy more mailers. It's going to take me a while to get to you. If you buy if you buy some mailers right now, I mean, it's going to take me a bit to get to you. I mean, maybe this Washington one will do it. Oh, we already got Skagit in there. Whoops, I changed the county. Where should I start? Where's Skagit? Skagit. That's the county Rick Roll bought his house in. I'll start with San Juan. San Juan, Washington. So let's do use. Land use. So these are different kinds of search criteria, and it's going to be, my head's in the way. Let's see if I can put it over my head. So land use, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you just get these boxes and you can pick stuff out. So land use is one of them. Let's move this up a little further. So I do land use, and I got a whole bunch of different land uses. I don't know why. I like to start at the bottom, work my way up, but I'm looking for vacant land, not trade school, vineyard. I'm not going to do mobile home. I'll do vacant land, NEC. And I'm not doing mobile home because I think it's a different pricing. I think like mobile home should be mailed, but I think that should be a different mailer when I specifically target mobile home stuff. So I'm going to do vacant land, NEC, not elsewhere classified, I think is what it stands for. I don't want a TV facility or truck terminal. Just want vacant land. Transient lodging, no thank you. Timeshare, condo, no timeshare. Not going to buy timeshares. It's the hardest things to sell. I want something easy to sell. It just tells its own story. Storage, stockyard, state property, stadium, stable, skating, SFR, single family residence. I want some of that. If it's vacant, we're going to do some other stuff to make sure it's vacant. Rural home site, I like those. Those speak to me. Residential lot, that works. Residential acreage, I like that. Residential NEC, we'll do that. I think there's a cabin coming up. Ranch, I like ranches. Let's see, I think cabin, they've got it standardized. This list standardized now. So in the past when I do this, each county or state would have different lists, but now RealQuest Pro has standardized it, which makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to do that. So if you wanted to go mail this same county, you could go mail, the casino properties. You could try to buy a place you could build a casino, or you could buy, some other kinds or something, right? Or you could mail the same thing I'm doing, just hit them on a different day, get a different outcome. So let's do lot acreage. I'm going to do lot acreage. Towards the end of this call, I'm going to give away some more mailers too. If you stick around, I should have said that at the beginning, but if you're still listening, you probably have some interest in these kinds of, this kind of business. I'm going to do from little tinies to, I don't know if I should do the crazy big ones. Do 170 acres. So it gets 160 acre sections in there. I don't know if I should go that big. I think I'm just going to go up to 40 acre property. So I'm going to put 50 in there. Okay. This says 2. I wanted 0.2. And I'm on the wrong one. This is lot area. I want lot acreage. So it won't let me put a point in there. I think in acreage more than square feet. Okay. From 0.2 to 50. I'm not going to do this on every one. I'm just going to create my search for this one and then copy it to the others. So let's save this. It's behind my head. But I'm just hitting the save button. So I'm just going to name it something. I like to keep saving as I build. So I build the search up. I save, and then I might come back to a previous one as my search gets more and more precise, and then it breaks down and there's no records left, and it's like, oh, database won't handle that. There's no data there, or something went wrong, right? I can go back. So that's why I keep saving along the way. It's crunching. My head's still in the way. Let me move my head out of the way. It's crunching numbers 10,000, 11,000, 8,000. So I haven't done anything to get rid of properties that are built on versus not built on. So that's why the number's big. It's 13,000. I mean, this is San Juan. These are islands. I don't think there's that many. This is going to be vacant and houses, stuff built on them. 13,822. Missing some questions. X Studio Production says, Luke, I actually have a good question for you today. Look at some property, 5 acres in Canadian Oklahoma, and I will be building a small homestead with greenhouse farming. What are something to look for? I look at some property, 5 acre in Canadian Oklahoma. I'm not sure if that's one on the website or not, but it probably doesn't matter. So what should you look for if you want to build a homestead with greenhouse? So I'd make sure, this is X Studio Productions, I would call the county and make sure that there's not some kind of minimum square footage that you have to build if you want to do a small homestead, because they might say you got to build 2,300 square foot house is your first thing. You got to build that before you build a greenhouse. No, you can't live in an RV while you build. Like, ask them if you can live in an RV while you build, if you can live in a tent while you build, or if you can put up a shed first to put your tools in that you're using to build with. And that'd be nice, right? If you had a tool shed on the property, you could use the shed later. They might not let you do that. So ask about that kind of stuff. Ask if you can drill a well there. Ask if there's water lines. Ask if there's sewer lines. Ask what are the requirements to do septic. Ask if there's a school fee. Ask if there's a park fee. Some places they make you pay fees. If you build a house that's got a certain number of bedrooms, the fee goes bing, 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 bing. Depending on how many bedrooms, you got to pay money. It's like a school tax or a park tax, because there's going to be more people using the school or using the tax, or a road tax. Some places have the roads. So what are the fees on that, if there are any? What's the timeline? What does it take? If I want to build like today, right? If I turn my paperwork in, it's all in order. Does it take 2 weeks? Does it take 6 years to get it approved? And then once it's approved and I get a building permit, what kind of timeline do I have there? So some places, like around me, they give you like a 6-month timeline to build the house. It's 6 months. I mean, yeah, we're close to the border, and you can like get a bunch of guys do construction off the street corner or Home Depot parking lot or 7-Eleven or something to come over and bang it out real quick for not a whole lot of money, but they're not licensed. Insurance doesn't cover them. Something goes wrong. It's not really legal to do that. Like, you gotta, how are you gonna do it in 6 months? You basically gotta hire somebody. That's why the rules are that way. They don't want you to just sit around one guy banging hammer, with hand tools and hand saw and wood to put your house together. You need a team of guys that are well planned out, power tools, hopefully parts already cut and ready to go before the building permit even happens, because you got 6 months to build a house. Like, it's got to be done, finished in, like ready to move in, done, 6 months. So ask what the timeline is. A lot of people get caught with that around here. They think they're going to go build a house, and timeline won't let them. You got to hire somebody, so you got to budget that, right? What else do you ask for? Guys, they're listening to the call. Throw some other things you ask for when you're going to look for land. Land Regular. Hi, Luke. Do you have a time estimate on when we will have access to your database to follow the progress of the mailers you are sending out? Thanks. Yeah. So, I'm working with a guy later this afternoon on trying to get the reporting side of the database going and trying to set that up. So hopefully sometime this week I can get that set up and I can get everybody that's into the mailer side to be able to follow what's going on with the mailers. So you can see exactly what mailers you got, what the offers were and everything. Most of the ones I've sent out, not the ones I sent out last week, but the ones I sent out before that, you got a spreadsheet and you can see that general stuff in the spreadsheet, and I'll keep working on that. But I'm transitioning from the spreadsheets into this data, this new software, and so you'll be able to see it live. It'll send you updates like, hey, we got a call. Hey, this one's accepted. Hey, this one's going into funding. This one's going into title. This one's, we're doing some option deals, or we're doing, we're paying cash for it. This one's in marketing. This one, we actually bought it. It's in marketing. Here's the pictures that came back from the picture guy. It's go, 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 go. Hey, somebody wants it. Oh, they didn't actually follow through. Somebody else wants it. Oh, they're actually paying for it. Good. Title, paperwork. Hey, it's done. Here's your money. And so you'll be able to track it through the whole process and see what the timelines are. I'm excited to see charts and data sets of the timelines, and I should be able to learn from that to get more efficient going forward. So that's coming up. Should be hopefully this week. Angela Nadu, whole house 6 months. So check the timelines. Some places really jam you into those timelines. Cindy Lee says, when you send an offer and they reply with accept, then you dig deeper and find out it is junk for some reason. I don't want to continue with that offer. Do you spend the time to send? Do you spend? No. I mean, I delete a lot of them that I think are not going to happen. So I deleted a bunch of them in this Wyoming mailer. I bought data for them, and I'm like, going to go, and there's houses on them. Like, it's not vacant. Like, the county data wasn't very accurate, wasn't very good. Let's see. Then do you send them a slide broadcast or VM or email to say, thank you for your reply, but upon further research, it didn't fit my criteria as a courtesy, or just let it go? Yeah, so I've seen some of the other guys will send out letters. They'll send out a letter that says it doesn't meet my criteria, like a bank would do if you get turned down for a loan or something, right? Or insurance company. Yeah, we don't want to pay that bill. Here's a letter. I just don't have the time. Like, I don't have the time. I'm leaning towards the slide broadcast because some of those people call again and ask where their offer is. Yeah, some of the people call and ask again where the offer is. So this new database system I've got, I can pull them up by reference number or APN number, their name or whatever. I got my notes right there. Like, big freaking hole in the ground. This is where all the water goes, and loads, waist deep trash. No access. Neighbor says guy never pays the road fees. And, like whatever the notes are. County says there's great horned toad there. Can't build anything unless you do $1 million study to move all the toads or whatever, So I can read the notes that I have back to them if they want. Well, I'm not going to buy it. See if they'll take $500 instead of $50,000. I don't know. And generally, I just move on. Ron DeVito, due diligence check if landlocked, and also check water access. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I wish I could check on every one of these properties, and I try, and that's part of this new database thing, is like reminders. Did you check this? Did you check that? Did you check this? Did you check that? But I think the more properties I look at, the better at that I've been getting. And I'm sure I'll get better over time. FC for you, one-stop shop. I think that's a big reason why shipping containers are so popular. Less than a month. Yeah, super fast, easy. It's just hard to get it past zoning regulations in lots of areas. But if you can get past the local regulations, go for it. X Studio Production. Sorry about the delay, Luke. I was trying to find it again. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so back to this San Juan thing that's in the background behind my head here. 17,500 records. We're obviously going to make it more accurate than that. And let's get rid of houses the best we possibly can. So I'm going to do that in a couple different ways. Let's leave it on San Juan. One way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do percent assessed. Assessed percent. Improved percent. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Assessed percent would make more sense, but improved percent. So I'm going to do from anything 0, whatever, I'm going to do it up to 10%. We might get some little nothing structures compared to what the land value is worth. Okay, so I'm going to save this as Washington 2. I'm going to run this search. So what do we have? 17,000. I usually write down my numbers so you keep track of where I'm at in the mailer, but I didn't this last time. 17,000 whatever. So after this, we're going to look at it, and this is probably going to have like government land, the parks, and something like that. So far, it's just names. It's already coming out pretty clean. Hunter Bay Maintenance Corp. So this is probably a neighborhood. How many we got? 4,000. So what is that? 4,000 over 17,000? It's a bunch of vacant. Almost a quarter of it's vacant. If we did King County, I bet you it'd be smaller numbers of vacants versus numbers of properties out there. It's just a lot more developed. So the other thing I want to do is property tax. So we got 4,723. So out of that 4,723, I'm going to draw you guys a diagram. Probably just look at me like I'm crazy, but whatever. Okay, let's see if I can hold this up. So, let's see if this works. I don't know. It's not the right kind of paper. So, I got price over here, and I got number over here. I try not to block the microphone. And this, I'm trying to draw a diagram of, just looks like a long hockey stick. It's a bad diagram. But what I'm trying to do is show you that if I charted the distribution of assessed values for these properties, or the property taxes on these properties would be another way of doing it. You'd have a whole bunch of them down at the bottom that have like next to nothing assessed values and next to nothing taxes. And logically, the next to nothing taxes sounds like the best property in the world to have, and some of them are probably pretty awesome. But most of those next to nothing property taxes are like where the water goes. You can't put in a septic. They're on the side of a cliff. They're, the land in between some houses that a neighborhood owns, or stuff that should be a government, kind of land, but people still pay tax on it for whatever reason. Just weird properties are hard to develop. And I don't want to mail offers to those. So what I'm doing here is by adding the property tax, let's right over my head. So we got these boxes over here, and it's from and to. I'm going to do from. I'm going to try to cut off the tail of that. So if you think of that chart that goes up and up, I'm going to try to cut off the little ones at the bottom. So I'm going to put $100 in there, and ideally I'd like to do some Pareto principle stuff and get rid of the bottom 20%. So what would that be? That would be 4723 times 0.8, because these are the ones I want to keep, would be 37. So I want to turn that into 3778. So if I put $100 in there, let's see if that turns it into 3,778. And then I can come back and I can change the number accordingly to try to get rid of the bottom 20%. So I'm thinking the bottom 20% is the worst properties to buy, to own, to make offers on, to make money on, there might be a golden gem in there, but I'd rather not pay for the mail. And I don't want to take the calls and weed through them. So somebody before was asking, what do you do when the people come back and they accept your offer and just looks like a piece of trash and you don't want to buy it? Hopefully you can scrub them out ahead of time so you don't have to waste time on those people by doing this. So put that bottom cut in there. You could do it with the assessed value if you go figure out the assessed value for this particular county, but I think a better way of doing it is tax amount, so it's more standardized-ish across many counties. It's easier to understand than trying to figure out the tax or the assessed value for each particular county as you roll through them. 4723. So maybe I didn't save it. Maybe I filled it in, but I didn't actually put it into the search because it didn't work. Let's see if the old search comes back up. But you probably get the idea of cutting off the tail, cutting off the little ones. Like if you had a stock portfolio and you got 10 positions and 2 of them are $100 each, like what's the point? Why do you own those things? Just get them out of there, clean it up, focus on the other 8. 2 of them are $10,000 a piece and the rest of them are $2,000 to $3,000 positions. Those 2 that are $10,000 a piece are running the show. The rest of them are a joke. So if we could focus in on that top 20%, that's the best way to make stock portfolios move. And the penny stocks, just focus on the best stuff. I think we can do that in land too. We can use that same kind of statistical approach to get rid of the junkiest of the junk. And the stuff, we'll run it again on the rest and try to get rid of the ones that are just out of my league. So that's what I'd forgotten last time. I didn't hit this button up here, this add button, so it actually got added to my list of criterias. That's behind my head and you can't see it anyway. It's so small you wouldn't be able to keep doing the wrong way. It's so small you can't really tell. My list of stuff, trying to convey the logic more than the details. Okay, so we'll see what the number is here. Last time it was 4723. We're trying to get to 3,778. It doesn't have to be exact, but you get the right idea. Yeah, so FC4U is saying, I know I'm a little late to the bus, but where do I purchase mailers? So there's a link in the description of this video. If you're watching the live, it probably works. If you're watching the recording, it probably doesn't work because people probably buy it in the past have been buying them out. So if you go to that link, it's a Moon Clerk link, and you can click on it's $1,500 for 1,500 mailers, and I do all the work and the financing to get the properties bought, and then we go sell them, the marketing to get them sold, and you keep half of whatever I get out of it. So it costs me money to finance these things. You don't get part of that, so we get sanded off there, but you don't have to put up the money. And then whatever I could negotiate out of them over the path of it, we split that up. We split that in half. So you put up the money for the mailers, someone else, you or someone else. You don't have to, but you could. Puts up the money for the properties, and we go, run with them, sell them, see what we can get. They might go fast. They might take forever, and they might never happen at all. Excuse me. But if you go on the website, you can see a bunch of deals. You see a bunch of sold ones we've had over time. I don't know why this is taking so long. This website is just being painfully slow. But maybe it's the database. I don't know. Maybe it's all of them. Logan Jordan says, Luke, a few weeks ago I bought some mailers. If I'm willing to fund them, what options are available? Yeah. So I should circle back with you and tell you the ones that we should be ready to go on. I've been working on, I've been biting off more than I can chew. I got this new database system that I've been working on rolling through. I've been working on a bunch of different deals, title on multiple fronts, and I got to catch up on the deal flow in your specific mailers and get you updated on the ones that are in there and see if you want to fund any of them. And push on and make them happen. I'm going to be working on that all week long, as well as this mailer. So I'm working on a couple different fronts. I'm really excited about that software. It's coming along pretty well. I think it's going to make it so I can handle a lot more of this in a bigger way. Okay, so we got our new number behind my head right up here. If you guys can read that, it says 3937. It's pretty darn close. $100 basically took off the bottom, I don't know, 15% or 18% of the properties. I was trying to get the bottom 20%. That's close enough for me. So if we went back and now I want to get rid of the crazy ones. Crazy, like, you know, the helicopter pad properties. You know, crazy on the upside, dollar side. So like if I did $2,000, seems to work in lots of these from my experience. 2,000, you know, if the property taxes are over $2,000 a year, there better be like a house on there. There better be some income. There better be something going, happening on that property, like oceanfront, harbor, I don't know, like some, you know, $2,000 a year taxes on vacant land sounds crazy to me. But I got some properties that are like $1,500 a year, and I don't know, it's just a lot of taxes. So if we cut that top tax off, I think it'll make it easier to manage these properties over time and not go for the crazy high ones. So we'll try the $2,000. Let's save this as, did I do Washington 3 yet? I don't know. I should have been saving more over time, but trying to do this to show you guys. Basically come up with a template that I can use to go bang through a whole bunch of these counties that I think are going to have the most sought after land in the state of Washington. I'm sure there's a lot of other land further out yonder in Washington, but as we started this call off, I don't think it's going to have as many people shopping it to move it as fast. I'm in business. I want it to move faster. So now we're down to 3103. So if we took, what is that? 3103, and we put it over the original 4723. Do we get 60%? Oh, we're at 65%. So let's say we knocked off the 18% or something off the top and the bottom by taking $100, you know, properties that are paying $100 and less in taxes off the bottom, and properties that are paying $2,000 and more off the top. I could tighten that up a little bit more and get it all the way down to 60%. But I think that basic model right there with those numbers, you know, I could play with it county by county. I'm sure it changes by county, but it gives you an idea. I could go through there and I could get my favorite selection of the properties, and then I can go in and I can price each one of those properties, not by property, because I'm not that crazy detailed, but each neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street, area by area, looking at what else is for sale in the marketplace. And that's how we can do it. I think that's the magic sauce. That's how we get these properties. So yeah, there we go. So if you guys, yeah, so FC4U says check out disabled. So that probably means somebody already bought the mailers. Somebody probably on this call while we're doing live went in there and bought the 1,500 mailers for $1,500. Now I'll offer some more again next week on Monday. I don't have it wide open, so you can just keep buying them. People keep asking, like they call in every day all week asking for more mailers. I can't keep up, guys. And I don't want to raise the price. So I think I'm just throttling how many mailers I'm willing to sell, because I got to catch up with the mailers that I've already sold. I got to get them to happen. I got this new software to manage the deal flow, and I'm going to catch up on the deal flow that's in the hopper, and I'm going to get these mailers out, and I think we can take a lot more deal flow on going forward. I've got more staff hitting it from a couple different angles to manage this as well, and grow the business and go make it happen in a bigger way. So thank you, everybody. Adam Mixel says, hi, Luke. FC4U says, makes sense. FC4U says, I work directly with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I'm mainly looking to provide veterans with options. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so I want to give away 500 more mailers. These are ones that I pay for. Like, so I'm paying for the mailer, and you go along for the ride. For watching the show, for being involved, for as a thank you, as because it's fun for me, and hopefully it's fun for you, and I can show you this whole thing just without you putting up any money at all, by answering a basic question. And so I got to think of a basic question to ask, and I'll ask a basic question, and then see if I can get this to happen. And then we'll take, what should we do? Do the seventh person today. So we'll do the seventh person to answer the basic question. And so we were talking about a newsletter writer earlier in the show. So his name, I was saying he forgot he owned stock in this company. It turns out it's worth about $500,000 because the thing went crazy. He works with my old boss, Rick Rule. They bought land together in New Zealand that went crazy value because they bought it when the market was blood in the streets, nobody wants it, and they sold it when everybody loves it. And so we're talking about this guy as a mentor, as a inspiring guy. He does good speeches and things. I see the name going by. So we're going to figure out the seventh person to put that name in there. And I was talking about that name earlier in the show, one of the stories I was telling. So you'd have to have been listening to get that name. So you're saying Doug Casey. Land Wrangler is the first one to say Doug Casey. So Land Wrangler, 1. Jason Macy says Doug Casey. That's 2. See if I keep it on the screen. 2. Count with my fingers. Andrew W. Doug Casey. That's 3. Jarrett Curley. Doug Casey. That's 4. Rittenhouse Music, Doug Casey, that's 5. Ron DeVito, Doug Casey, that's 6. Logan Jordan, Rick Rule, and Doug Casey, that's 7. Logan Jordan, good deal. So Logan Jordan is number 7. I'm going to give you 500 more mailers. I believe I've already got your information, but I know I've already got your information. So usually I ask that you send your information to Gilian at realvacantland.com, but I've got your information, so I'll tell her to put you down for another 500 mailers. And as I get these things going, I'll scrub them, I'll get them priced, financed, and all the way through, and split up half the profits with you, half the profits of what I would get out of the deal, like after financing, after costs of pulling it off. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for trying. Thanks for swinging. Thanks for listening. Thanks for staying on this call so long. We're almost an hour and a half. And congrats, Jordan, Logan, and everybody else. Cindy Lee says, thank you, Luke. You're such a great teacher. Love your style. Hope so. It's something I'm passionate about, right? So it's easy to share. If you give me a different topic, I'd probably be awful at it, but this is stuff that I like to do. We'll do it again. I'm going to work on this all week long. Hopefully I can present some of the properties. I'll have some time in there to present some of the properties we've been buying recently, and do that along the week, throughout the week too. And some of the other ones that are up for sale on realvacantland.com, because that's where the best deals are. And I think it's the best place to go if you're doing mailers, to go look at data and what stuff's selling for, what stuff's not selling for, what stuff is out there in the markets to compete with and things, because it's live database. The sales are there, and there's more sales information there than most anywhere else I know. So go check out realvacantland.com. Either you're trying to figure out mailers, trying to buy more, or trying to buy land, because the other people that are buying land, selling it for cheap, are doing it there. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody. Talk to you again later. Luke Smith, Real Vacant Land. Thanks.